Hello guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new to my channel, hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Summer. And to all of you that keep coming back, hello and welcome back. Quick reminder, if you've never subscribed, just to remind you to click that red button there that says subscribe, and after that click the bell sign. That way you get a notification whenever I upload a new video. So in today's video I want to talk to you guys about a video that I came across. I am subscribed to a lot of channels on YouTube, and I try to watch as many people as I can. I watch and I typically just click like, and I don't leave comments all the time, but I do watch a lot of channels. And recently I came across a video by this Nigerian girl, Cher and I came across a video she shared recently, and she said, opening up, I'm not irrelevant, I inherited nothing. And even just looking at it is making me a bit upset. And she was talking about her father died, she went for the burial, and I think she has three brothers and herself, and she inherited nothing. And I really want to discuss this because it is something that needs to be talked about. It's not talked about that often. You know, there are some cultures in Nigeria where girls don't inherit anything. Girls are irrelevant. There is no other word to use. There's actually no other word to use apart from the word irrelevant, where girls are irrelevant, seen as irrelevant, treated as irrelevant. Before I say anything else, I'm just going to let you guys listen to what she had to say.
So yeah, why am I sharing this? I was reading an article recently, and the person said some of us hold on to pain because we want to have a story. So you want to succeed in life and then say, oh, you know, and then you have this backstory. But the thing is, there are people who can learn from your situation right now. So I'm going to share it. I'm happy to share it. And if it helps even one person, then, you know, it would have been worth it. But none of them are traditional. But when it came to the case of inheritance, my brothers decided to be traditional. And so I got nothing. God has blessed me with everything that I need to survive in life. I have never regretted being a woman, and this situation is not going to be what will make me regret. I think some men are just really misogynistic, and it's sad that my own siblings fall under that category. Guys, I've held this for so long. Brothers were selling property and buying cars and living their best lives, honestly.
I will put a link to that video so you can all check it out. I'm terrible. I always forget to put links. I always say I'll put links, but I forget to put links. If I forget, somebody remind me in the comment section what about the link, so you can go watch the full video. So long story short, basically the father had three sons and her, and the father died and the sons inherited everything and she got nothing. And she won't be the only one. There are a lot of women that can say the same thing. Now, before somebody says, you know, I have had an argument like this before on Facebook, and the man came for me. Before somebody says, oh, what is she looking for inheritance for, whatever, let me tell you something you have to realize. This girl, if I'm not mistaken, I think she's a doctor, and she's a married girl. I would say life is okay with her. She's not like this poor girl, you know, suffering, you know, desperately needs inheritance or whatever. Why I want to talk about this thing is this, because some people do not realize, you know, there are people that feel like our culture is our culture, it doesn't matter, as long as it's our culture, you have to respect the culture. Cultures are man-made, okay? Cultures are man-made. That's one thing. And there's something else. I want, you know, when some people say all this culture, like in my tribe, we used to get rid of twins because they were seen as an abomination. It was the culture. But it wasn't right. It wasn't right. There are some parts of Nigeria where when the king dies, they bury some of his servants alive with the king, because apparently the king still needs servants even in death. Okay? I don't know if they still do it, but that was a culture. That was a culture. When people are like, it's our culture, it's our culture. I've made videos where I've talked about the house that I grew up in. things that happen in my household that I am not happy about, you know, things that are happening in my household that I was not proud of, things that are happening in my household that I think people should think about, parents, men, women should think about it because of the effect on their children. And some people came for me, you know, some people came for me, oh, you would, and I never, like, even in my video, I didn't even talk about the whole of my tribe. I talked about my household, what happened in my house. I even said it in that video. I was like, I'm not saying the whole of Igbo tribe is the same. I'm speaking about my household where I grew up. And some Igbos came for me. I take that video down. I was like, on my own channel. And I'm like, listen, I talked about what happened in my household. It's not, you were not in my household. You can't tell me what happened in my household. And like, anyways, I won't go into that. And there's some people that have issues about my videos where I share my life story. My life story, not their life stories, my life story, and how it's affected me. When I saw this video, I saw a girl she came out. This is one thing I think about people sharing their life stories. She didn't come to, you know, trash her family or whatever. She came to speak up about a culture that was hurtful to her. Okay, that was hurtful to her. It's not your story, it's her story. What happened in her household where she grew up in. And it's important. This is what I talk about. When you want to share your story on YouTube, it is good to use it to teach others. What is there to learn from her story? Let me tell you, I come from a culture as well where girls don't inherit anything. Okay, I'm not sure what tribe I'm not sure what her tribe is. My side of Igbo land, I don't know about your side or whatever. My side of Igbo land, girls inherit nothing, zero, absolutely nothing. I discussed this thing before. These Igbo guys were all like coming for me and, you know, stuff, da, 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 da. And I'm like, listen, the guys are not in the best position to talk about how it feels, okay? And they were like, instead of you to work on yourself and do something for your life, you're looking for inheritance, your mates are blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, my mates? I'm like, what about you guys? You know, you're men, and no matter how much you've achieved in life as men, they still come for their inheritance. According to her, she said something about, I think her brothers live abroad and everything. They're all like, they're not poor people. And yet, these are people that live abroad. They are exposed. They have daughters as well. And then when it comes to stuff like this, they hold on to the culture. They hold on to the culture, even though they know, like, okay, this is not really right. Now, let me say one area where I have a bit of a reservation. Okay, when it comes to, like, I'll speak for myself. Like, you know, for example, my father's house in the village, it's not something, I understand my brothers inheriting it. My father's name remains on that house because it's my village where we come from. It is like, I don't even know, I think I've made videos where I explain that I come from a village where my forefathers are from. We're not like this immigrants to this village, or, you know, it's not like a land they bought. This is the land where they have lived like for centuries. Imagine 2-3 streets are the same last name. That's the best way I can explain it. 2-3 streets are the same last name. So this is where I understand, okay, the importance of my father's name carrying on in this piece, on this piece of land where is the land of their ancestors. They guide it in a way to keep that continuity. They don't sell land to outsiders in my village. They don't. My village is a very remote village. So I understand that, trying to keep the last name, because the whole street, like the whole, like 2 streets are still the same last names. And the next, you know, are cousins. And the next are cousins. So my village is still like that. And I personally would have that feeling about, oh yeah, my father's house, or my father's name staying there and stuff like that. And my brother is inheriting stuff like that. And but like, there are cases where the father owns lands in different places. My father doesn't own any other land, really. You know, there are places where their father owns lands in different states. In some countries, you say counties. Their father owns a lot of businesses and, you know, a lot of stuff. My father didn't own that much, but I'm just saying there are people that their fathers are rich and they have properties spread across the country. And then this man dies. Only the boys inherit everything. It is wrong. It is wrong. Let me tell you what's wrong with it. This girl I'm talking about, Cher, this YouTuber, you know, she's not this poor suffering girl that is starving. As far as I know, she lives abroad. She's okay. She's doing well for herself, and I think, like I said, she's a doctor and everything. One thing about disinheriting girls, I think is important to discuss, and that's what I want to bring out of her video. When you watch that video and see how it made her feel, it wasn't because she was like she needed to inherit from her father so she can have food to eat. No. But is that it is the feeling of, so I do not count, so I'm not important, so even as one of your children, I was not important, I am irrelevant. Do you know, that's what it feels like. And I'm making this video for any man watching this. Think about things like this. Even if you do not want your daughters, you know, to inherit the land in your village or whatever, decide now what you want to give them when you pass. You don't want your daughter to be like this YouTuber, you know, crying after you're dead and feeling like you never loved her, and feeling like she never mattered to you, and feeling like giving birth to her was not like giving birth to somebody. Okay, I'm saying this because the people that are dead and gone are gone. Those of you that are alive today and you come from this kind of a culture, decide, okay, I want the boys to take this because of these reasons. Find something and keep aside for your girls. Keep aside for your girls. You do not want to be the one that will make your daughter cry like she did. The choice is yours at the end of the day. This is not about girls wanting to be boys or stuff like that. No, this is about girls wanting to believe that you actually really loved them, that you actually really, you know. And do you know what's funny? Some people say when a girl is getting married, they buy her a fridge and they buy her sewing machine or whatever, and that is it, you're sorting her out. But yet your sons, they keep getting. Your sons are being helped. I know men that have set up businesses for their sons. They have, you know, done whatever for their sons, and then they still die and their sons still inherit everything. See, another thing that's interesting is my village, where I come from. I'm speaking for my village, not your village, my village. Girls don't count. But you know what's funny is that when something happens, when there's burial, there is special occasions or whatever, when they distribute how much needs to be spent, they will send you your amount you need to pay, and you and your husband will pay. Listen to this, some of these cultures, right? I know there are some villages where you marry an Igbo girl, the girl is not going to inherit anything, but when she gives birth, you have to pay bride price or whatever price all over again. If she gives birth to 5 children, every time she has a child, you have to pay the family some kind of money and stuff like that. The girls are like, you know, and yet the girls are the ones that are going to, you know, when they're getting married, the man has to pay to marry this girl. The bride price, the girls are basically, you know, being sold as, you know, bride price is collected on the heads of these girls. When there is the father's birthday party, the girls and her husband have to contribute. They would, you know, give you the man his amount of money the man has to pay, and he has to pay it. And then when there are burials going on, they will give her her own portion of money to be paid. Whatever is going on, there's always, you know, levy. Is it levies or what will you call it? There's always a portion of the husband to pay for this. She and her husband have to contribute for this, contribute for that. Every occasion, they never stop taking from the girl and her husband. But when it comes to inheritance, she doesn't count. You know, people have to start thinking about this. Like I said, I'm making this video for people to, you know, a lot of us are getting exposed. We are living in Western society. We're seeing things differently. You know, we're beginning to realize that we're all human beings at the end of the day. We are all human beings. Forget about all this. There will not be men and women in heaven. You know, even the God that made us all does not favor men more than women. He doesn't. God does not answer the prayers of a man before the prayer of a woman, or more than the prayers of a woman. God does not do this. And why are we then, our earthly fathers, doing this? Like I said, it's not about, oh, she needs it to survive or whatever, but it's just for a girl to feel like I'm not irrelevant. I mattered. I was actually loved. For anybody watching me, especially the men, because in our cultures, the men have all the powers. You're watching me now. This is something to think about. What do you want to leave for your daughters? Something to make them feel that you actually loved them and that they were relevant to you. Do not let your daughter be one of those that will be crying like a girl like this. A girl like this YouTuber when you're gone and think you never loved her. Do not be one of those men that your daughters will be the last thing they say about you is that you left them feeling unloved. Okay, something else for people do not realize is actually against the Nigerian law for a girl to be disinherited. A lot of people do not know this is actually against the law in Nigeria. There are women that have taken these things to court and they won when the man didn't write a will, because automatically when these men die, automatically the sons inherit everything if they didn't write a will. So if you're a man and you're writing a will, write something down for your daughters. A lot of these men actually rich enough to leave something for your daughters. If you're going to give the house in the village to your sons, give one of the ones in Lagos or wherever to your daughters. If your father did not have a will when he died, you actually have the right to go to court and fight to inherit from your father's estate. I read to you guys, there's actually a case I read about a while back. A woman took a family to court and she won. I read it to you guys. On April 14, 2014, the Nigerian Supreme Court, in a unanimous decision, confirmed decisions of two lower courts which had found unconstitutional an Igbo customary law of succession excluding female offspring from eligibility to inherit the property of their fathers. Okay, the background of this particular case, right? It says the case originated at the Lagos State High Court, where Lazarus Obonna Ukeje, a member of the Igbo ethnic group, died in estate in Lagos in 1981. Gladys Ada, his daughter, sued Louis Chituru Ukeje, the deceased wife, and the plaintiff's stepmother, and Enyin Naya Lazarus Ukeje, the deceased son, and the plaintiff's half-brother, before the Lagos High Court, seeking that she be included among the persons eligible to administer the deceased estate. The High Court sided with the plaintiff and voided the Igbo customary law excluding female descendants from inheritance. A lot of people do not know. You see, people don't know what the law says, and I'm thinking this lady must be educated, because if she wasn't, she may not even know about going to court and all these things. Let me tell you, things are changing. Things are changing. The best thing a lot of these men can actually do is write a will. Write a will and include your daughters. Make them feel that you actually love them. Make them feel that they were relevant. I made the video the other day. I was talking about how at the end of the day, this life is a journey. All this culture and traditions, all this is a journey. We're all making this journey once. Nobody wants to say, oh, because I'm a girl and because I'm a boy, you know, this should affect my journey. Everybody's journey is their individual journey. Individual journey. There is no reason why having a good journey or a bad journey should be determined by what you have between your legs. Like, people need to start thinking about this thing. Like, I know people that have said, okay, you know, they leave this to the youngest child because, okay, the older ones are already established. There are people that have had the child in old age and they're like, oh, this young one will never be able to establish. Maybe in our lifetime, we might as well just leave everything to this younger one. The older ones are already established, or whatever reasons. But let it not be that gender is the reason behind who gets what. I saw this video and I really loved this video, because these are my kind of videos when people share their stories to expose something that needs to be exposed, to speak about things that need to be spoken, that needs to be spoken about. She is creating an awareness that can change the way. Okay, look at me now, I'm making a video about it. Okay, and there's a man that may be watching this right now and be like, oh my goodness, I love my daughters, I better do something now that I'm alive. At the end of the day, her video has made me to make this video, and my video may, there may be someone that's watching my video right now, that my video is going to make them think. This is what I'm talking about. Sharing your life story is an amazing thing. So some people come for me for speaking about my life story, but I haven't even started. I have so much stories to share. There are people that are going to troll you when you share your life story. There are people that are going to use it to make a video tomorrow and want to say nasty things about you. If you concentrate on those people and you be like, I don't want to share my story anymore because of these people, you're making, don't forget that there are some people that listen to your story and they be like, oh, thank you so much for sharing it, it made me think about this and da. Even the video that I make, that some Igbo men are like, take down that video. There are men that are contacting me and be like, thank you for making that video, I never thought about it this way, it actually made me realize there are people that are, all my other stories that are like, wow, that I like the way you address this thing, it actually made. Why should I focus on the trolls and the bullies and the whatever, when I can focus on these people that my story has touched? Why should I focus on the negatives when there are so many positives? Why? I made a video once where I said my life stories that I share are not stories I want to take with me to the grave. There are no use in the grave. There are no use. Please God, I live to be very good age or whatever by the grace of God. But at the end of the day, when I leave this earth, I feel like if I have my stories in me, they're gonna go into the grave with me. What use are these stories in the grave? What use are they? Think about a lot of amazing countries where a lot of amazing things have happened. It comes from people sharing their stories, and their stories triggering a change. You know, I'm just gonna say this. I'm proud of Cher for, you know, sharing her story. I'm proud of her for sharing her story. More people need to speak up. More people, because anything you see that is wrong, especially when you've experienced it personally, is the best story to use to make people think. Don't let the stories die with you. Share it to make people think. There is no way a change will come if these things are not addressed. So anyways, I came across that video and I thought to myself, why not? That's my kind of video. Why don't I come here and share about it? And hopefully, if it changes one man's mind about the way he looked at his daughter, that's a win. That is a win. There is no reason, absolutely no reason, for a female child to be made to feel irrelevant. And with that, I'm just gonna say thank you for watching. Until the next time, guys. Bye bye. Bye.